Welcome back to Yvette's View, where we continue to vibe high on good high vibrations. And welcome back to another Tasting Tuesday. And today I decided to do a Sunday, what I would call a Sunday meal. Very comforting and simple in a sense to make, but something that you could kind of, have as a Sunday meal or any type of dinner. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Sunday dinner, but this always kind of puts me in the mood of a Sunday meal because there's gravy involved. And as you guys know, I love my gravy. So this gravy, I actually made it more sagey. I was just in the mood for that comfort sage cornbread dressing type of gravy that you would put over your dressing if you had that. Since I didn't do a dressing, I did do a sage mushroom gravy, and I actually put a little turmeric in this, so I had to kind of put something else in there to kind of balance the little bit of bitterness that I had put of the turmeric. But I thought, why not let me put as much nutrients in this gravy that I can. I also added sea moss to this gravy so that I can continue to get vitamins and all in throughout this whole meal. So I created that gravy, and it just when I tasted it, was just, oh wow. I'm like, okay, it's exactly what I was looking for. My palettes everything I put in there, I put ginger, onion powder, garlic salt, smoked paprika, of course, sage, some oregano, a little thyme, black pepper for the turmeric that's involved, and I think I used a little bit of poultry seasoning in there, so that way that kind of gave you a little bit of what I would call a West Hill gravy. You just kind of throw all the seasonings that you want in there, and so that's what I did with this gravy. I think the garlic salt was the salt, and that's all I needed. Perfect balance with the gravy. And so of course I made some quinoa to go with this smothered cauliflower steak and some quinoa with the gravy on top of that. And then I made a simple, quick, easy little salad that I would call a salad, but it's just cucumber, tomato, and avocado. And I chose to throw some bean sprouts, some alfalfa sprouts on top of there. And then I added a little bit of hemp seed for some more protein, and some everything bagel seasoning. And of course, my gravy is made out of chickpea flour, so I'm getting a lot of protein that way. I'm getting protein through my quinoa, so this is a very protein dense meal and comforting, as I said. So let me show you what this plate looks like. And of course, I threw some green onion on top of there. That's the salad. There is the quinoa with the gravy on top, and that is the mushroom cauliflower. Just want to make sure I get everything in there. So let me scoot up a little bit just so you can see how big and beautiful and delicious this looks. Okay, I'm all off the camera while I'm turning because I don't want to drop it either. But yeah, there that goes. And so I'm going to cut a little bit of this cauliflower steak. And no, you know what? Let me have a little bit of the salad first, because I haven't had this kind of salad in a minute. Let me get this plate is hot. But I've got everything in here, so let me cut a bit of this cauliflower steak too. And I double battered that, so it's with my spelt flour and almond milk, and some chicken fry by Louisiana to give it that extra. So I don't have to do a whole lot. So I wanted to cut this first, so that way I wouldn't have to be doing all this chopping while I'm when I want to take a bite. Okay, so here we go. Getting ready to start with the salad. Well, the salad that I call it a little bit of a salad because I like to have a little bit of the cucumber, which I get my water, my H3O, a little bit of avocado. Well, actually, I want more avocado than that. A tomato. And this just has a little sea salt, black pepper, a little lemon juice. I really decided to make this really simple and easy because I like the combination together, right? I like the cucumber with the tomato and the avocado. I just love that combination. And I get my healthy fats with the avocado and potassium. I had no idea avocados was high in potassium, which I pretty much need. Oh yeah. That's, you can either eat this after or before, either or. It's gonna be good. And of course, now I'm going to take a little bit of this quinoa with the mushroom gravy. As you can see, the mushrooms, a little scallion on top. See how I dropped that already? That's what happens when you do everything in real time. If you like sage, this puts me in the mind of, like I said, a mushroom, a cornbread dressing. Especially if you like sage in your cornbread dressing, which I'm a sagey person when it comes to cornbread dressing. So that's why I decided to do this gravy with more sage in it, because I was just feeling that kind of thing. But here's the cauliflower steak. Oh my God. Let me put it. Oh my God, let me put these together. I need. And the cauliflower steak. Oh my gosh, let me put these together with the mushroom. Oh my goodness. Scallion. You cannot go, well, I can't go wrong with this. This is a sleeper. This meal here, I tell you, this can be a lights out afterwards, a knockout, drag out. You're not gonna win that battle. And, but then that's why I wanted to have a little bit of something light on there as well, because everything else on here is really dense, right? The gravy has the garbanzo bean protein, the quinoa protein, hemp seed on the salad protein, mushrooms have protein, so they're a very protein dense meal, but very comforting, especially for days when it's rainy and you just kind of want something to kind of hug you after you eat. Have you ever had a meal that felt so good it felt like a hug? Because it just, Made you lean right into it. Well, that's what this one does for me. I see right now I'm gonna I'll either have this in half and do the other half later, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to get through this whole cauliflower steaks. It is a little bit big. But anyway, tastes delicious. Seasonings are just on point. Nothing over salted, or just stayed right within. I also did use a little bit of Celtic salt in my dressing. No, not in the dressing. I used that in when I made the quinoa. I put a little bit of Celtic salt in there, because that's something that absorbs into your cells. And so as I was even cooking this meal, I was really intentionally thinking about all of the nutrients and vitamins that I wanted inside of this meal, since I knew it was going to be a kind of not a lot of vegetables to it, you know what I mean? Except for the cauliflower, it is a vegetable. But like I would say, maybe like having some greens and stuff like that. So that's why the microgreens were going to be very vitally important on top of the cucumber and tomatoes and avocado. And then I also get to eat some of my water, which is hydrating as well. So I thought, let's keep it simple, but yet let's think about what we're actually putting into our system, into our body, to have it function in its optimal shape on today. And that's what I came up with, family. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed watching me taste this meal. It is delicious. Oh my gosh, I don't know. I'm going to get busy with this one. That's all I'm saying. It's a wrap. With that being said, family, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Continue to vibe high on good, high vibrations, family. Peace.